"It's remarkable," said his companion, a young officer named Sue. 10 years ago, they barely had space stations. Now look at them. Min nodded. Humans adapt faster than any species we've encountered. That's what saved them and changed us. The Council itself had transformed in the decades since the Earth incident. For the first time in 10,000 years, the mighty empire had been forced to reconsider its ways. The policy of conquest had been replaced with one of careful diplomacy, not out of kindness, but out of fear of finding another Earth. There, ship docked at the gleaming Earth space station Alpha. Human guards in sleek uniforms escorted them through bright corridors to a conference room where Earth officials waited. Min recognized Ambassador Park, now older but still standing straight and proud. "Commander Min," Park greeted him with a small bow. "Welcome to Earth." Min returned the gesture. "Thank you for receiving us, Ambassador." "Supreme Leader Han is ready to speak," one of Min's officers announced, setting up a holographic projector. The air shimmered and Han's image appeared in the center of the room. The Supreme Leader had also aged, the stresses of the past decade etched on his face. "Greetings, people of Earth," Han began. 10 years ago, we made a grave mistake. We came to your world as conquerors and paid a heavy price for our arrogance." Park nodded politely. "The past is behind us. We look to the future now." Han's hologram smiled thinly. "Indeed. That is why I've come to formalize our new treaty. Earth has proven itself a power to be respected in the galaxy." The meeting continued, with discussions of trade routes, technology exchange, and security agreements. Min noticed how the humans negotiated, firmly but fairly, never yielding on matters of principle but flexible on details. Later, as Min and Park walked through a garden built on the space station, a remarkable feat of engineering with real plants, growing in artificial gravity, the humans spoke more candidly. "You know, many on Earth wanted to build a war fleet after you left," Park said, "to take the fight to the Council." Min stopped walking. "Why didn't you?" "Some of us argued that proving ourselves better than our enemies was more important than revenge," Park replied. "That we should explore space with open hands rather than clenched fists." "And yet you've built impressive defenses," Min observed. Park smiled. "We may extend friendship, Commander, but we're not fools. We remember." As they continued their walk, Min noticed a group of alien visitors, not Council species but others from distant systems. They were talking with human scientists, exchanging information freely. "Those are Zendi traders," Min said, surprised. "The Council has tried to establish relations with them for centuries without success." Park nodded. "They came to us after hearing how we stood up to the Council. Our first contact teams operate differently than yours did. We meet new species as equals, not conquerors." Later that day, as their diplomatic mission concluded, Min stood again on the observation deck. Officer Sue joined him, looking troubled. "Commander, I've been thinking about something Ambassador Park said, about how everything changed because of those 6 words. 'Humans don't negotiate with murderers,'" Min quoted quietly. "Yes," said Sue. "Such a simple phrase, yet it defeated our entire empire." Min shook his head. Not the words themselves. What they represented. A line that could not be crossed. A principle worth dying for. He gestured toward Earth. "Look at what they've built in just 10 years. Imagine what they'll accomplish in a century." As their ship departed Earth's orbit, Min received a private message from Supreme Leader Han. "What is your assessment?" Han asked when they were connected. "The humans are remarkable," Min replied honestly. "They've already established alliances with 12 species, including some that always rejected us. They're spreading their philosophy throughout the sector." "Their philosophy?" Min nodded. "Their simple phrase has become something of a galactic motto. Even species that have never met humans have adopted it. On a dozen worlds now, leaders face their own people saying, 'We don't negotiate with murderers.'" Han's face showed concern. "And what do you think this means for the Council's future?" Min looked back at the blue planet growing smaller on his view screen. "It means we must change, Supreme Leader. The days of conquest are over. In the new order, even the strong must learn to live by principles or face the consequences. The ship's communication system chimed. "Admiral," Choi called out, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth. They're broadcasting on our own frequency." "How did they?" Kim began, then shook his head. "Never mind. Put it through." The screen filled with Ambassador Park's face. He looked tired but resolute. "This is Earth United Command to Galactic Council Forces. You have committed an act of war against humanity. You have murdered our people, but we are giving you one chance to avoid complete destruction." Kim laughed bitterly. "They destroyed 7 of our ships, and they think they can destroy us all. The Council has thousands of warships." "What are their demands?" Min asked. Park continued on the screen. "Withdraw immediately from our solar system. Prepare to receive our diplomatic team within 7 days to discuss reparations for the people of Seabrook, and surrender Admiral Kim to face justice for the crime of murder." Kim's laugh died in his throat. "They want me? Personally?" Min nodded, slowly. "Remember what they said from the beginning, Admiral. Humans don't negotiate with murderers. They consider you personally responsible for the deaths in that village." As the flagship continued its retreat, Kim stared at Park's unwavering face on the screen. For the first time in his long career, he felt something unfamiliar: fear. Supreme Leader Han paced the circular room at the heart of the Council mothership. News of the disaster at Earth had spread quickly through the ranks. 7 destroyer ships lost. Hundreds of crew dead. The flagship severely damaged. It was unprecedented. "This cannot stand," Han declared to the gathered high command. "No species has ever defied the Council and lived to tell about it." Admiral Joe, who had been sent to replace the disgraced Kim, bowed deeply. "Supreme Leader, I recommend we gather our full fleet. 2,000 warships should be sufficient to turn Earth into ash." Officer Min, who had been promoted after the retreat from Earth, stepped forward cautiously. "With respect, Supreme Leader, I believe that would be a mistake." Han raised an eyebrow. "Explain." "The humans are not like other species we have conquered," Min said. He activated a holographic display showing Earth's rapidly advancing defenses. "In just 3 days, they have reverse-engineered our shield technology from the wreckage of our ships. They are adapting at an extraordinary rate. All the more reason to crush them now before they grow stronger," Admiral Joe insisted. Min shook his head. "Our intelligence suggests they have already prepared for that possibility. They have moved their most important manufacturing and research facilities underground. Even if we destroy their surface settlements, they would survive and eventually rebuild."
And they would never forget. The room fell silent as the leaders considered this. Han stroked his chin thoughtfully. "What do you suggest?" "Negotiate," Min said simply. "They have offered terms. They want 3 things. Our withdrawal from their
solar system, reparations for the village we destroyed, and..." He hesitated. "And?" Han prompted. "And they want Admiral Kim surrendered to face their justice." The room erupted in outrage. "Impossible! No Council officer has ever been surrendered to a lesser species. This is an insult to our honor." Han raised his hand for silence. When the room quieted, he spoke again. "The humans have shown they can hurt us. We need more information before we decide. Bring me their leader." 2 days later, a human shuttle docked with the mothership. Ambassador Park stepped out, accompanied by 2 military officers. They were escorted to the council chamber, where Han waited with his commanders. Han studied the human with interest. Park looked small and fragile compared to the council officers, yet he showed no fear. "Ambassador," Han began, "I am Supreme Leader Han of the Galactic Council. We have received your terms, but find them problematic." Park nodded. "I understand. You've never had to negotiate with a species you tried to conquer before." Han smiled thinly. "Perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. The Council is prepared to offer Earth membership as an equal partner. We will share technology, open trade routes, protect your world from other threats in the galaxy. A generous offer." "And Admiral Kim?" Park asked. Han's smile faltered. The Admiral made errors in judgment, but he was following Council protocols. We will punish him according to our laws. Park shook his head. Not acceptable. He ordered the murder of 342 humans. He must face human justice. Admiral Joe stepped forward angrily. You dare dictate terms to the Council? We could destroy your entire civilization. Park didn't flinch. You could try. But consider what has happened so far. You attacked us thinking we were primitive and weak. We destroyed 7 of your ships and damaged many more. We hacked your supposedly impenetrable systems. We adapted your technology for our use within days. He paused. What do you think we would do if you attacked again? The room was silent. Min watched the human with growing respect. There was no bluster in Park's words, just calm certainty. Han spoke again, his voice softer now. If we were to accept your terms, a big if, what guarantee do we have that humans won't seek revenge anyway? That you won't build a fleet and come after the Council once you've mastered our technology? None, Park answered honestly. Except, for this, humans keep their word. If we agree to peace, we will maintain peace, but if you reject our terms, he left the sentence unfinished. Han studied the human's face for a long moment. I need time to consult with the full Council. Park nodded. You have 48 hours. Then we begin our own preparations. After the humans had returned to their shuttle, Han turned to his commanders. What do you think? Admiral Joe was still fuming. We cannot surrender, Kim. It shows weakness. Min stepped forward again. Supreme Leader, I've been studying human history. They are unlike any species we've encountered. They fight among themselves constantly, yet unite instantly against outside threats. They hold grudges for generations. If we refuse their terms, they will not forget. They may not win a war today, but they will remember. They will prepare. And one day they will come for us. Han looked at the retreating human shuttle on the view screen. Such a small vessel, representing such a dangerous species. Prepare Admiral Kim for transfer, he said finally. We will accept their terms. 10 years had passed since the Council ships withdrew from Earth's solar system. Admiral Kim had been surrendered to human justice, tried in a global court, and sentenced to life imprisonment. The reparations had been paid to rebuild Seabrook and create a memorial for those lost. Officer Min, now promoted to commander, stood on the observation deck of a small diplomatic vessel approaching Earth. The planet looked different now. Orbital. Defense platforms circled it like a protective shell. Ships of human design, but clearly incorporating Council technology, patrolled the space lanes. A young woman stepped forward from the line of leaders. I was born in Seabrook, she said, her voice steady despite the tears on her cheeks. My parents and my little brother died 10 minutes ago. You should know that humans have a saying. We would rather die on our feet than live on our knees. Lee's communicator chirped urgently. She tapped it. Commander, return immediately. Officer Choi's voice was panicked. Earth's militaries are launching missiles, thousands of them from all continents simultaneously. Their missiles can't penetrate our shields, Lee said calmly, though her heart had begun to race. They've modified them somehow, Choi replied. And our computers are malfunctioning. We're being hacked. Lee looked at Park with new eyes. This is suicide. Your planet will suffer terribly for this defiance. Park didn't smile. There was no triumph in his face, only grim determination. Perhaps, but you will not be alive to see it. When Lee transported back to the ship, chaos greeted her. Alarms blared and officers shouted reports as they ran between stations. On the main screen, she could see thousands of missile trails rising from Earth's surface. How did they modify their weapons so quickly? Kim demanded. Officer Min looked up from his intelligence console. Admiral, human communications indicate they've been preparing for alien contact for decades. They have protocols in place, and they're coordinating globally in a way we've never seen before. The ship shuddered as the first missile struck. The shields flickered but held. Impossible! Kim shouted. The second impact was stronger. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Lee watched as the humans' missiles kept coming, wave after wave. She realized with sudden clarity the fatal mistake they had made. The Council had always relied on fear and overwhelming force, but they had never encountered a species that responded to fear with such unified, immediate rage. The third impact breached the shields. As the bridge erupted in flames around her, Commander Lee's last thought was of Ambassador Park's words, "Humans don't negotiate with murderers." Officer Min raced through the smoke-filled corridor of the flagship. The ship shook with another impact, throwing him against the wall. Warning lights flashed red everywhere. The sound of the alarm hurt his ears. He reached the emergency bridge where Admiral Kim and the surviving senior officers had gathered. The main bridge was gone. A direct hit from an Earth missile had destroyed it. Commander Lee was dead, along with 20 other crew members. "Report!" Kim shouted over the noise. Min struggled to catch his breath. "Sir, 2 destroyer ships have been completely destroyed. 3 more are heavily damaged. The humans are targeting our engines and weapon systems with surprising accuracy." "How is this possible?" Kim slammed his fist on the console. "Their technology is primitive. We scanned their planet thoroughly." Officer Choi looked up from her communication station, her face pale. "Admiral, we've intercepted their military transmissions. They've been planning this since our first appearance. When we destroyed their village, it triggered a coordinated, global response." "But the shields," Kim protested. "Their weapons shouldn't penetrate our shields." Min brought up a display showing Earth's surface. Hundreds of facilities were highlighted, all of them buzzing with activity. "Sir, the humans have some kind of global network. When we arrived, they began analyzing our technology. When we fired on the island, they captured data about our energy signatures. And when we attacked their village, they had already prepared their response," Kim finished grimly. The ship shook again. Another impact. "What's more, Admiral," Min continued, "they appear to have hacked into our computer systems. Our shield frequencies were somehow transmitted to every military installation on Earth simultaneously. They've modified their nuclear weapons to match these frequencies." Kim's face darkened. "Impossible. Our technology is protected by encryption that would take their computers centuries to break." Choi spoke up again. "Sir, intercepts suggest they didn't break the encryption. They found a backdoor through our communication systems when we broadcast our message in their languages." Another officer, Jun, arrived on the emergency bridge, his uniform torn and bloody from a head wound. "Admiral, the destroyer Lightbringer just exploded. Captain Song and all hands lost." Kim sank into his chair. 7 Council ships destroyed, hundreds of crew dead. This had never happened before in the Council's long history of conquest. "We need to retreat and regroup," Kim decided. "Move all remaining ships to the edge of this solar system." As the damaged flagship limped away from Earth, followed by the surviving vessels of the fleet, Kim watched the blue planet recede on the view screen. How had it gone so wrong? They had conquered hundreds of worlds with the same approach. Show overwhelming force, demonstrate the consequences of resistance, and the species inevitably surrendered. But humans were different. "Sir," Min said quietly, coming to stand beside him, "I've been analyzing the human response. They're not fighting like other species we've encountered." "Explain," Kim ordered. "Most species we conquer have internal divisions. When we attack, they fragment further, each group trying to save themselves. But humans..." Min brought up images on the screen showing military forces from different Earth nations working together. They unified instantly. Their historical enemies are now allies. They set aside all their differences when faced with an outside threat. Kim watched the footage with growing concern. "And their technology? They're adapting at an alarming rate," Min replied. "They've already incorporated elements of our shield technology into their defenses. They're examining the wreckage of our destroyed ships. I estimate they will have functional versions of our weapons within days, not years."